dance. Dance is groovy. Answers all up in my pants. On one foot, the cool gun on me. I bust a nigga shit, thinking I don't speed. But Fiano, B's, C, moving. Regular, my niggas here, we the theist movement. My niggas live shit, y'all spit with your new ass. I got beef, I never need a suit pass. Make me first and you last. Niggas can't see me, I blew past last. And the things breathe real one, where you at? Right there, player, where they do that. Y'all knew that, I do that, and you do that.
What's happening, world? Happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of Cognac Confessionals. I'm your host, Deshaun, here at Where Media Meets Studios in conjunction with VJ TV, Feral Films, History in the Making Entertainment, Keep It Cloudy Productions, you know, on this Friday of Memorial Day weekend, ready to get this in. Hope everybody doing good, as always. Peace and blessings. Let everybody introduce themselves, as always.
I'm JR, the People's Minister of Information, Editor-in-Chief of the San Francisco Bayview newspaper.
And it's the boy Camouflage K-A-M-M in the building.
Hey, what's up? It's Feral Films, aka Feral the Most, here with y'all once again.
Yeah, I'm saying it's Friday. What's it, the 25th? Gemini season? No.
26.
Today's 26, that's right, yeah, 26. Yeah, shout out to all the Geminis out there doing your thing, celebrating. First off, we want to send our condolences and rest in peace to Tina Turner. We lost her, was that yesterday? Yeah, so that's a legend. We always losing legends, man, in droves, you know.
I knocked her stepdaughter off back in the 80s, so rest in peace to her.
What's her stepdaughter name?
Okay.
I ain't gonna say it out loud. She had 3 of them, but the fine one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know what's crazy though? How they was just saying like a lot of people. I was watching a lot of the interviews and stuff, and they was just saying like a lot of people just thought she wasn't gonna never die. You know what I'm saying? It's like a Kobe Bryant or like one of them where you just like be shocked like, damn.
She was
This
up
isn't her
there.
age.
Even though she was, but you know, even though she was old, but it's just like
On
she
some Betty
always
White
looked
season.
good. Like every time I seen her, you know what I'm saying? Even though I guess she was sick or whatever, but
Yeah. I mean, it's
She was a tremendous performer.
definitely. She's a beast.
black rock star, the first really black female rock star.
Yeah.
That segues into some controversy because the reason why she was that was people akin him to Satan, but Ike Turner, who was one of the principal architects of building rock and roll, but he gets
Right.
no acknowledgement. He
Yeah.
already didn't get no acknowledgement of that. Then the way he was portrayed, you know, as almost a satanic figure by Larry Fishburne, he'll never get acknowledged. In fact, if you say anything positive about him, you get
get
treated
looked
as
at
you're
crazy.
condoning, you know, woman beating or something.
Yeah,
You
he
know.
was much more than that. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, she was an icon. She was like dope as fuck.
But you is right though, because really, you know, I gotta correct my statement because they be always have me fooled thinking that black people did not really invent rock and roll in the first place. So you know what I'm saying? They be having me. They just took the shit and then got me thinking like I be forgetting sometimes.
We got no Chuck Berry in them.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, if a person
Ray
really want to know
Charles, Little Richard.
how deep Ike Turner goes, Ike was one of the studio session engineers and people that helped mold Sun Records, helped mold Elvis Presley.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Definitely.
I mean, when people say Ike Turner basically invented rock and roll, it's not really a stretch. Not only did he make some of the first rock and roll songs like Rocket 88, but he helped mold Jerry Lee Lewis and helped mold Elvis and was in the studio with them, helping them become what is commonly viewed as the building blocks of rock and roll, but it's based on the back of the blacks. Same thing with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. They was just basically doing the white version of Muddy Waters,
Right.
Right.
you know, and Howlin' Wolf.
They say that too.
Yeah, I give them credit.
Yeah,
They don't.
say
They did never. They never denied it. In fact, acknowledged it.
Because if you listen to like people like Janis Joplin, you can see that she trying to copy the blues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they just made their different flavor of it. White blues became rock, or their form of rock.
Speaking of rock, I saw the wildest thing on the internet. It was Dave Grohl, who was the drummer for Nirvana, right? I seen on there he was doing an interview with Pharrell, and he said, and he showed that Nevermind, that song Nirvana, that big tail smells like Teen Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
He actually, Dave Grohl said, I took all that from Cameo.
Yes,
Tony,
I
Tony,
seen
you
that.
saw that,
I
didn't
saw
you?
that. I
And
did
then
see
he
that.
showed it where it was
Yeah.
like, it was the same drum patterns.
Yeah.
Wow. I got a random rock fact too. I met Alanis Morissette. Y'all know who that
Yeah.
is?
Mm-hmm.
And I told her I knew who she was because Pac had said something about her. She told me that her and Pac had a recording session a week after he died where they were supposed to do something together. So that would have been real interesting. Alanis Morissette, Tupac song.
That would have been still playing every
One
day.
of the largest, she has the largest female debut ever, selling debut ever. I think she did like 18 million or something on her
What was the name of the
debut.
song?
I'm talking about the whole album, that first album. Yeah,
I know she was like the female Nirvana, you know, at that time. It was Tupac, Nirvana, and Alanis Morissette that was on top.
That was a good era because whether it was rock, whether it was rap, whatever, it had to have some edge.
Yeah.
Now everything is
young
commercialized
and
and
rebellious,
polished.
and it was rebellious.
Yeah, if it wasn't Rage Against the Machine, if it wasn't the middle finger in the air, people didn't want to hear it. But now, if somebody is edgy, people say, "Oh, that's angry." Well, give us the more you know, you gotta be more polished now to be a pop star or a rapper or whatever. You gotta be polished. You gotta be.
It got bought out or bought in.
You know,
bought
and
in.
easily accessible to TikTok. You gotta be.
You gotta be palatable for white people. Just keep it line.
Yeah.
I was being politically correct.
Well, you know, we don't do that here. Well, we do sometimes.
Yeah,
Not
speaking
all
of
the time.
music though, that was kind of fucked up. Like I never really like listen to her music, but I respect the game as a musician. Like they saying Celine Dion ain't gonna be able to sing no more. I guess she canceled her tour.
Yeah, she got something incurable going on.
Yeah, some kind of like neurological shit where she can't really sing.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, damn, I never was really a fan of her music, but I couldn't imagine like that being my life. And then like, you like, damn, you can't do it no more.
What she got, MS or something?
It's something similar to that. There's some other, I don't know the name of it, but yeah.
People call me corny, but that if you really listen to the lyrics to that big joint she had from Titanic, that was some powerful shit. I mean, you know, a lot of times, you know, we be kind of like don't rock with no pop music or nothing like that. But if you really stop and you listen to the lyrics, what she's saying about that heart will go on and this and that, that was some good ass songwriting.
I singer though.
I would love for somebody to remade a soul version of it.
Shit, she had motherfuckers damn near in tears watching the Titanic.
Yeah, she was crooning. Yeah, she was crooning.
I'm not saying myself. I'm saying I just seen
No, when that song
motherfuckers tearing
came
up
on,
in the theater.
Reason I was more mad because I was thinking there was no need for dude to die like that. Me and her would have took turns switching off on that track. I wouldn't have died under the circumstances, but I know that for the movie to make sense, blood had to kick the bucket. But
We'd have been keeping each other warm on that little piece of wood. She'd
Yeah.
been on my wood and we'd have been on that wood.
call me a villain though, man. When the bad guy tried to muscle his way onto them boats, I would have raised him up out of there. Fuck that.
Fuck that.
I'm sorry. Self-preservation is the strongest instinct.
Facts.
But we got great things coming also. It's to get off of the white people is the edition. Shout out to my guy Dino Brown tuning in. Duck.
Special shout out to Dino Brown, star
Jermaine,
of the
what's
new
happening?
movie, A Hero
Jordan, what's
Around
happening,
the
my
Way.
brother? Tuning in. Appreciate y'all tuning in. So we got JR here. Black New World Media. You got a bunch of things coming on. You've been on the show a few times. So tell people what you got going on and what's been up with you. I mean, we talked about your promotion earlier. Let's start with that. Go ahead. Tell people what's happening.
Yeah, basically, I basically became the editor-in-chief for the San Francisco Bay View, but I've been working there for a hell of years. And they've been giving it to random motherfuckers that shouldn't have got it. So it's a long time coming. But, you know, I feel good sitting in the seat and we trying to see.
Salute that.
Appreciate it.
Cheers to that, black man editor-in-chief. I mean, that shit, the buck stops with him.
He's a journalist, man.
Journalist, editor-in-chief. You know what I'm
we're trying to keep the ball rolling and make it more essential in the community than it's been in the last 4 or 5 years. Because people try to say that newspapers are dead, but I think that's a plot by the system, because if everything is digital, they can control it.
Exactly.
If you can put it in somebody's physical hands, they don't know what's being passed around because we passing it around.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know,
They just want to put some ads on it that you don't know about.
Right.
right. That and then I think it's also they want to control your voice.
Right.
They want to control what could be said. They can
Who
slow
see
your
it.
algorithm down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Shadow
They can't
ban.
they can't do that with a physical newspaper.
Right.
As long as we got distribution and we got our own distributors, so they can't do that. We got our own. And if worst come to worst, I know the distribution route. So.
Drop it off the shelf.
Just got to be able to take it to the streets, take it to the people.
So tell the people about Bayview.
Well, the Bayview newspaper is a 47-year-old black liberation newspaper. It was started by Muhammad Kareem out of Hunters Point. It was based originally on the Final Call. He was a Muslim in the mosque in Hunters Point, and he made it. Then it was bought by the Radcliffe family in 1992. I joined the newspaper in like 2000. So the newspaper is basically, we look at ourselves as modeled by the Final Call and the Black Panther newspaper. It's a freedom fighting paper. It's a paper that we feature, but it's not just freedom fighter stuff. We feature hood and social stuff too. So you'll see somebody like Breezy the Twerk Goddess, like we were just talking about, but she got the We Heal Different Center in Richmond. You know, we was just watching one of her videos, but people don't know she got a whole philosophy of political philosophy. But that we highlight black businesses. We highlight issues in the community, like they got the kidnapping of black girls in Oakland. That's an epidemic right now.
Yes.
They got the murder of Banco Brown, who was a homeless youngster. Homeless youngster in San Francisco, they killed for stealing like $10 in candy.
Right.
So we make sure that we highlight that kind of stuff, but not just the tragedy of what black people going through. Also highlight, some of the achievements and some of the hopes. So we were at the Silicon Valley horse show with We Ride Too, which is a black nonprofit that teach black children how to ride horses in Oakland.
That's what's up.
So, I mean, we do all kind of stuff just to highlight different aspects, define our own narrative, define who we are.
Yeah, man. That's what's up. And I know y'all got a big award show coming up.
We got the Black New World Media Awards. It's next Saturday, June 3rd. It's an award ceremony because, we're not waiting for white folks or the Grammys or the Emmys or the Oscars to give awards. We know who's doing what in our community. So we give awards to people in our community. It's really a way for us to acknowledge each other, but also for us to get together, know each other, network, pick each other brain, work together, get some money out of this media world. So we giving a Lifetime Achievement Award to JJ Parson of KPOO, who is the manager of KPOO, been the manager since like the 70s. People, we grew up off KPOO. It was the first station that played rap for everybody. So I'm saying, and he was the manager then. And so, acknowledging him, acknowledging the history of KPOO, but we also honoring Emory Douglas, who was the revolutionary artist and the cartoonist, Minister of Culture for the Black Panther Party.
Right.
But then Alyssa Victory, she's gonna be
my lawyer, my attorney, my folks.
Yeah, she also the columnist, the local politics columnist for the Bayview. She gonna be the host. Michelle Phillips, who is the Oakland Inspector General for the Community Police Review Board that reviews what the police do to our community, but within the department she looked for patterns and stuff, but she'll tell us more. That's why we got her coming, so she can tell us more about what she does. And then we have Latifah Simon, who worked on the bar board and she's a big philanthropist and human rights advocate in the community. She's gonna be doing the speech, so should be a full night. You got people like No Vultures. You got Damon, Hooker Boy that been on your show. That's my cousin.
Yeah, that's cousin. I
You
know
know,
that.
he there. So it's gonna be, it's gonna be there. Y'all gonna be there, right?
Yeah, we coming. Yeah,
Yeah,
Rock,
we
Rock,
there.
Rock gonna be the announcer, so they gonna hear a familiar voice.
Yeah,
But we just trying to bring
We
a
there.
lot of different journalists together.
That's what's up. I mean, and like you were saying, we got to stop. Society we depend on. I get the door. Society we depend on the white people trophy too much.
Right.
You worrying about the Grammy, worrying about the MVP, worrying about the Tony, the Oscar. They don't never give us our shine.
Right.
Y'all got this. Remember, you had the Bars Awards. Cats was doing. I mean, even in rap, you had the Source Awards and stuff. That we got to
was
start.
white on too.
Hmm?
Them was white on too. The Source
Source
and the Bars.
In fact, that's why the Bars Awards was a great concept, but it failed because it was run by some white boys who truly only wanted the lowest common denominator to be represented because that was their caricature of what this thing is about.
Well, see, I didn't know that. So,
Yeah.
but we need to. Well, it needs to be black owned so we can, like you said,
True that.
give our people their kudos and flowers in our own way. Because we appreciate when you show a brother love and give him his award and it's coming from your people. It's different than you got it from
The industry.
because the industry should be on some popularity or secret money bag shit.
Something
You know, it
political.
ain't genuine. I don't think it holds weight at all.
And see, you cut out the middleman too when we give each other awards. You know what I'm saying? People that don't have no talent or no way in, they don't have to have a way in. We can give each other awards, and like you said, it means more. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
So
we
salute to y'all
just
for
that's one of our efforts at owning our own business, our own industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And our own network where we control it completely. So we only a part of it, but
That's what's up. And what other ventures you got going on? What's happening in the world of JR, man? Let's talk
I'm
about
getting
it.
ready to go to Cuba, man, in
There
like
you
a few
go.
weeks, man. I just had to do something different.
Right.
Just went through a big loss. Lost my grandfather, who was real close to me. So I'm just like, when you go through something like that, you got to do something
You gotta
different.
reflect.
Yeah, so I'm about to
Condolences,
just
bro.
go to Cuba. Right on, man. Going to Cuba. Really just going out there to see what's popping. I was out there before in '97. So we're going to see what it is in 2023.
That's what's up. Yeah, I've never been, but it's a beautiful place. From one of my son's teammates, they went out there and played baseball in a baseball tournament. So
Yeah, they
and
big
they
on
came.
baseball.
Oh yeah, they need to end that embargo. Let that shit.
And the embargo, I agree. Hands off Asada. Yeah.
But man, that's big. Going out, man, cause you be everywhere, bro. You be traveling. That's what's up though. You gotta. Small-minded people stay within a 4-5 block radius. You want to talk about the world and experience the world. You got to go out and experience the world so you can be able to talk about the world.
And it's a lot out there. A lot of people are scared of what don't like them or who don't like them. But it's a lot of people in the world that would embrace you. And it's a lot to learn. It's a lot to see, a lot to feel. A lot of times we feel caged in Oakland or in the Bay Area or on the West Coast. I mean, that's our fault. You know what I mean?
Close,
What we pay for our tennis shoes or 2 pair of tennis shoes can get us, you know what I'm saying, at least across the country.
Yes.
So, I mean, we just got to start prioritizing. My mama put that in us where, she was a big traveler. And so I always took to it.
That's what's up, man.
I've always had love for the Cubans. I defeated 2 Cubans in the Sunshine Games back in the days.
The Sunshine Games.
It was like a Florida version of the Olympics, and the Cuban national team came over and competed, and I beat 2 of them.
Backgammon?
No.
Nah.
And but literally one day I'm in Vegas, maybe 2010, and all of a sudden someone says, "Do you know this crazy motherfucker?" And dude is yelling, and I look over, And it was one of the Cubans, and he had actually defected in the 90s, turned pro for a minute, was a top 10 contender.
Mm-hmm.
And he recognized me from when we was teenagers, and he was living in Vegas training fighters out of Floyd Mayweather's gym. We got to talking. His English was still bad, but he literally got that little taste of America when they came over, and they had chaperones, and him and his folks made a raft and floated over here from Cuba.
Mm.
And the shit we take for granted, this man, only a 3-4 day trip to America, was so in love with what we got cracking over here that him and his folks risked their life and never going to be able to go back to Cuba and see his family or anything like that. They straight defected. And I saw him, this is 20 years later, and I saw blood. And he was like,
Both the bags the same.
but everybody saw this big, muscular, crazy dude shouting in Spanish. I didn't see him. I'm like, you know this crazy motherfucker? I'm like, oh, that's dude. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? The Cubans, don't be fooled by them Cubans that look like this that's in Miami. The actual Cubans in Cuba look like us. And they love us and they want to connect with us, but through the politics and embargo and all that, they'll never get a chance to. But we got love for that. The Cubans that's in Miami, with that's on that other shit and love Trump and all that type of shit. That's them Cubans ain't, even though they control the narrative here in America in regards to Cubans, they're not really. They were the rich elite who got booted out. They are not representative of the actual Cuban people. So people be like, oh man, Cuban motherfuckers hella racist, this and that. That ain't the real you. If you dealt with them in Miami, you ain't got a taste of the actual Cuban people.
That's true.
That's what's up.
That's true.
In Cuba, what else you got going on, bro?
I'm just trying to, at this point, get this newspaper rocking. I've got 2 daughters that graduated, one that graduated from college, so on my daddy thing, doing my little traveling thing, you know. Look, we got guests within guests all on the show, interviewing people on the side of it.
She's side busting.
That's what I'm saying.
If she got something to say, she knows she can step up right here.
That's what I'm talking about. She can't side bust from the back. She's throwing the show off.
Step up.
But y'all filming live.
So your body to be without it.
Step up.
Oh, okay, bet.
Just step right here and introduce yourself so people won't think I'm some crazy man looking out the window.
Hello, everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Linnell LS, aka Miss Babs Swag Creator, and today I
and trust me, you better get her name right. You'll have to
CMOS.
make several revisions of a flyer
Yes.
if her name isn't
He
right.
should know, because he had to do it like several times. Get it right, Linnell LS, aka Miss Babs of Swag Creator. Okay, let's get into it. Today I have CMOS of the week. I make CMOS gel, which is really good for you if you guys are like into like self-care and like taking care of yourself, you know.
CMOS has 92 of the 106 nutrients and minerals that your body requires daily.
Really?
So
Yes.
this week's flavor I
it's a
made
daily
dragonberry, which is dragon fruit and berries, and I like to use blackberries. They're really good for us. So I use cherries, blackberries, and raspberries with dragon fruit. So that's this one. And then for the guys, I also offer soap, turmeric soap, which is really good for your skin, our skin, your body, moisturize. It helps with eczema. And also, like, I guess you guys get, like, razor bumps and stuff like that. So this will also help with, like, razor bumps. So I stopped by today to drop off a bag.
Let me ask the important
Well,
question.
not drop
about
off. The bags, the bottles are $10 each and the soap is $10. So
Let me ask the important
bags are
question.
$30.
So you say this is 92 of the essential minerals, right?
Yeah.
This and that. As a black man who is aging and who grew up on a complete Big Mama diet, you know what I'm saying? Hog maws, smothered pork chops, and all that. I haven't been feeling quite as vital.
Yeah.
Will this
CMOS?
help that?
So if
Sea moss
anyone
gets
is
you
like
to Captain Morgan
Caribbean,
pose.
I'm gonna say just Jamaicans. I remember seeing sea moss in Jamaican recipes or even like at their stores. And I remember when I was younger, they would say like the sea moss drink that they made with like peanut butter. It's like peanut sea moss. They would say it's for guys because it gives you guys, you know, extra strength and that and like you were just talking about feeling like
So extra
Yeah.
strength. Are you saying it'll give me extra strength and
overall,
and while I'm
like-
at my work filing things, or will it give me extra strength and
I'm
in
gonna
the most
say
important category?
mind, body, and soul.
When you trying to hit her with the mule?
Because
Yeah, I
as
just
black
bought a
as
bag,
as
so I'm
black
trying to
people,
figure
the
it out.
diet that we
Yeah.
the diet that we eat here in America is definitely not
Terrible.
conducive to our nature, and thus that's why we end up, especially when a lot of us turn 50, literally dropping dead. You know what I'm saying? High blood pressure,
That's true. You
diabetes,
gotta
this,
eat
that, and
things
the other.
that are living, alkaline things that are living, things like you just said. That's really best for our genetics. You know, like our body makeup or whatever.
Cause see, I'm a typical Negro.
And
I went to
CMOS
Kaiser
is
and they said,
definitely
"Ooh, you got diabetes."
A part of our
I went to
natural
Kaiser
diet.
again. They said, "Ooh, you got high blood pressure, this and that." And I said, "Okay, doc, I don't give a fuck." In fact, I think I probably went to Touch of Soul and had a smothered dinner, right? And then they said, "Oh, you gonna get gout. Your ankle's gonna swell up." I said, "I don't give a fuck." They said, "Oh, you gonna get sleep apnea." I said, "I don't give a fuck." And then they said the magic words. Your stick ain't gonna work no more. I said, "Oh shit, we gotta do something about this."
That'll help.
Okay. So she just guaranteed that this is gonna work for me and reverse my bad diet. Thank you.
If you take it
Take it daily.
daily.
So what's how it tastes? Is it sweet?
That's the thing. So being on mixed fruit is naturally, it doesn't really have a flavor.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of people don't like it inquires it like a taste. Like you gotta just, I don't want to say
Mixing
just
in
be
your
like,
smoothie,
you okay?
your juice.
So you
Or
don't
can
eat it
take
by
straight
itself.
up. Yeah, you can.
Without it being
I take it
flavored,
by
a lot of
line.
people mix it in like stews and different like dishes. 'Cause
Yeah,
you
I take
can't
it.
really
I take it
taste
straight sometimes, but I'll mix it in juice.
Yeah, juice or make a smoothie.
Yeah.
And do you notice a difference after how long? Like a week or
So
two?
if
or
you
a few
start-
days?
So for all the health benefits of it, if you're starting from scratch, you'll probably see results in probably 6 weeks, as far as the health benefits. Because also it'll help clear up your mucus in your lungs. 'Cause you know me, I'm a cigar smoker. I'm a cognac drinker, deep
So
thought
that means
thinker.
you're gonna cough up a lot of that.
You know,
So I'm saying you gotta take it every day or what?
yeah, take it daily.
But you
Anything.
shouldn't look at it like what it's gonna do for you in 3 weeks. You
Yeah.
gotta like change your lifestyle.
Exactly,
You
change your
know what I'm saying? You're
lifestyle.
not looking for that's like doing the 47 push-ups and looking for your muscle to jump and be
Yeah.
like, you know what, I
Gotta-
did 47.
Hey, if you look
You
in
know
this
what I mean? It's not gonna work like that. It's like you gotta
6
change your
weeks, and
lifestyle.
then you change your lifestyle. You just stay
You'll
with it.
see improvement, but
Yeah.
you can't stop
Yeah.
when you see the improvement. It's
You
going.
gotta keep going.
Yeah, you taking it, and then you thinking, oh man, I'm there.
I'm healthy.
I'm bang, waking up like, hey, ho, ho.
Right. Healthy
Then the
is,
next day you like,
healthy is an everyday thing. You gotta do.
you don't
every
wake
day.
up pinching the tent. You better go see somebody.
I want to piggyback
Because
on
all
that.
jokes to
Definitely,
the
I
side.
agree. It's like a lifestyle. Not saying everything or you have to drop completely, but what they say in moderation.
Yeah.
So just like adding this to your diet could help,
Yes.
and cutting back on some sugar or something.
Yeah, sugar is the
Carbs.
number one drug killer.
And like he said, actually, you know, all jokes aside, if you're not pitching the tent every morning, don't look at it as just age or something like that. That's like the canary in the coal mine
That's
as
the
far as
safety
the
check.
circulation, CHF, low testosterone. That's an actual indication of, hey, that's your body's way of saying, hey man, something ain't cracking.
System check. That's the body's check engine light. If you don't wake up on brick,
So do what you gotta do to get
hey,
that
make
taken
sure
care of.
somebody
Don't
next to
ignore
you to
that.
take it down.
And then the sad singing and slow driving, because, you know, we sitting there like, man, I wish he'd have took better care of himself. You know what I'm saying? As I'm also wishing you'd have paid me that money before you kicked the bucket. But, hey, you know, I just want you to be okay.
Health as well.
And
Health
pay me my
as
bread.
well.
Speaking of that, now you mentioned the Caribbean, right? You as an international traveler, you go to take lots of trips to Ghana. You even organize, you take people over there. I've met a couple people been like, man, I got to see the motherland thanks to JR.
That's dope.
I know they up on a lot of stuff like this, and they eat more holistically than we are. Do they do this CMOS thing over there?
Yeah, I seen it in the Caribbean. I seen, you know, they just eat fresher food than us. You know what I mean? It's not
No
as
process.
safe ways out. You know what I mean? They hooked in with farmers and people and open markets where the farmers come. So I think that's why African people and Caribbean people in mass. I mean, I'm sure I seen a lot of junk food too. Don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about when they cook, even when they cook dinner, it's you can taste the difference. You know what I'm saying?
Farm to the table.
Like it's a trip. The best food I ever tasted was in Haiti. Even though we'd be saying,
Okay.
you know that Haiti is the poorest country on the Western Hemisphere, but when you bit the fruit, the juice came out like the commercials. And you know what I'm saying? Because the United States is so drugged and fertilized and pesticided that it affects what we taste. You know what I mean? So when you eat out there, I was like, when I was in Brazil, they had like 50 fruits and shit that we never even heard of at the juice bar. I was just picking shit like, I just want something red and sweet. He was like, it's 10 of them. I was like, the one with the C. You know what I mean? Just imagine being at a juice bar, they got 50 different things and it ain't no strawberries. And you know, we think we exotic when you eat mangoes.
Yeah.
You know,
Mango is
you know,
shit, but there's other shit.
Guava and mango and papaya, we
I
think
seen-
we exotic, but they got shit like it. You know, we know about acai, but they got some shit that's related to acai that ain't acai, but it's other shit, like different kinds of fruits, different flavors. I ate some shit that tasted like Now-Laters. And with, like you talking about diabetes, I'm figuring if this shit is 15 hours away on a flight, why we not shipping this fruit out here? But, you know, Now-Laters wouldn't make their money if they had a fruit that tastes like
I'll
Now-Laters.
let you bring that shit over.
And the insulin
Yeah,
people wouldn't make their money. Because
Money
I
ain't in
was,
the
I was,
Money
she
is
was
in the
healthy.
comeback.
There's acai, that's what it's called. It's called aceola. And it tastes like Now-Laters.
It's in Brazil or
It's
in
in
Africa?
Brazil. It's in
Okay.
Brazil. And I used to get up every morning and eat this shit. It's healthy too. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? It's a fruit. And it tastes like now. So I'm just thinking a lot of this synthetic tasting shit that we like, that shit based off real shit.
Oh, of course.
And if we can find the real
Of
shit,
course.
you know what I'm saying? Because all the fruit out there, it was almost like, why even eat sugar? Because you can find a fruit or something that fits that.
Substance.
Texture
I mean-
that fits that. Whatever you like, it's something that fits
Right.
that.
Just look at it from a business model. If I know the real fruit tastes like this, and it's only growing in this region under the
Right.
specific
Amazon
climate
sun.
environment, and now I need it over here and mass produce it. I don't have the same environment here, so let me chemically engineer this flavor with aspartame and all this other shit, and y'all gonna suck it up like juice boxes.
Yeah. But the food is banging, man.
Oh, yeah.
From the fruits to the stews and all the stuff we don't know about, it be banging.
Yeah, I ain't
Don't
gonna
let
front.
them-
Alcohol is better in some other countries too.
I was in
I
Ghana,
went to
they was
Curacao,
making
it was better.
in Africa they was making the shit. In Ghana, they was making the shit like on some, you know how you got your own strand? They had their own drink. I lightweight was scared. Like I was like, you drank it first. Right? Like you drank that shit and then it had like crazy shit in it. Like he was like, you know, it's like a cognac, but it got like sesame seeds and you know, I was
I
like,
do like sesame.
you know what I mean? It just had all kind of ingredients. You be like, damn, that shit kind of good for you. They was like, yeah, if we're gonna tear you down, we're gonna build you up. Like that's a whole
So
different
there's a
concept.
philosophy to it too.
But I went and drank like 2 or 3 different people's drinks, and they tell him come taste our shit. You know, it remind me if you had a strain in the
Yeah.
hood. Y'all was
Everybody
like,
like-
oh, we got the Cognac Confessionals straight, man. Taste that shit. But they had their own little concoction.
And this was in Ghana, right?
This was in Ghana.
Okay.
But you know what else was funny? They had a turf. They was I can't call it stealing because they was buying it, but they wasn't supposed to be selling it. They was
Country
selling oil,
Yeah.
like petrol, illegally. Shit was wild. I
On
wanted
the
to
turf.
On the turf. It was a turf, and like dude I was tapped in with was a lightweight boss on it. He was like, I want you to come see this shit, and he was hella rich. He had like an 8-room house. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, come see this shit. I went to come see it. So then they had everybody lined up, you know, Africa on the beach. The 20 boats came. They had like the young motherfuckers who were really low on the totem pole. They had to swim the line out there like a little thing to suck the oil out the boat and put it on the trucks. You know what I'm saying? And man, they did that shit. They was doing that shit in like 10, 15 minutes a truck, filling the shit up, the whole truck. It
Making
was-
it happen.
Man, they told me they was making $8,000 a truck, and I was sitting there. I'm talking about we in Africa. So that's a lot of motherfucking money. And I'm talking about the trucks was
Moving.
moving. I seen 8 trucks come through there one night.
That's what's up.
But it was 30, 40 people working. But you know what I mean? Shit don't
Yeah.
cost as much. The dollar was 5 times, you know, your dollar, $1 is $5 and $8.
Yeah,
So
that's what's up. What's
that's
up, Brock?
That's heavy right there. So do you have, I know you've taken several trips to Ghana and I'm always so fascinated by that. Are you like
But
you have
I went to
people that live
Libya
like,
too though. I went to Libya.
okay.
You know I met
What,
Gaddafi
man?
before.
Is it?
Libya?
I met Gaddafi with Malcolm Shabazz, Malcolm X's grandson.
The
When I
one
was
who got
there.
killed in Mexico.
Yeah, I used to travel with him. You know, he did his first speech that he did to the black community was in Oakland, in West Oakland. I used to travel with him. I've been to 20 cities with him. You know, but we met Gaddafi. You can see it. We 3 weeks before Libya got bombed, we was at the African Union with Cynthia McKinney, former congresswoman out of Atlanta. And yeah, we was in Libya.
They really did their best to try to label her as a nutcase.
And Cynthia McKinney was probably the most brilliant thing that we ever seen, brilliant woman we ever seen in Congress. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man, I know her personally. She definitely is very intelligent. She like a female Martin Luther King, but even got to do more. She did it on a bigger level, and she took bigger chances than he took. But she'll probably never get the credit because of how dangerous she is to the system.
They never
But shout
get
out to
credit.
her.
Definitely.
Yeah, so, yeah, but I've been to Libya, I've been to Cuba, I've been to Brazil. I've
Have you been to Liberia?
No, only Africa I've been is just Libya and Ghana. I went to Ghana twice. No, but I've been to El Salvador. I've been to Haiti twice. Been to, you know, what
My
else?
stepfather, my
Jamaica.
mother's husband was murdered in El Salvador.
Is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a dangerous spot. That's a dangerous spot. You know, I seen people that they got makeup on their face. They wash their face and they got tattoos on their eyelids and in their mouth. I was like, yeah, this shit serious.
Where is it at? Ghana?
He was
El
involved
Salvador.
in some things in Nicaragua, and he ended up settling in El Salvador. It was supposed to be safe, but he got double crossed. And it was the 80s, so y'all can make the connection, Nicaragua, El Salvador, and he got hit by some people who wasn't from El Salvador.
Sound like some Oliver North right there.
Basically.
Yeah.
And she met him in LA, and so, you know, he was part of a particular scene, and then he had to go back to check on his parents, and he got killed.
But that sounds like the book Dark Alliance. If people want to know about that.
He was definitely in them zones. You know what I'm saying? And so it looked like a random street robbery, but his people's just like, no, this was definitely Nicaraguans, and the only way they would have access to get to him is that they had someone helping to facilitate things who had a lot of power. I know. We know what's up.
It's a wild story.
Porfirio Castro, that was his name.
What's the name?
Porfirio Castro.
That sounds like some international crime boss name.
No, he wasn't a crime boss. He was on some freedom fighting shit.
Is that right?
Yeah, he was, you know what I'm saying? And when the war in Nicaragua went bad for him, he went to LA. But he still had his lines out there. And
Porfirio Castro.
Porfirio.
Porfirio.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cold name.
Porfirio Castro.
What y'all call him? Pro?
Yeah, I call him Castro because I was always being funny. You know, because Castro. You know. He was a cool dude, though. Rest in peace.
Camo, what's happening with you?
Oh man, shit. And this breeze, man, just tripping off all this stuff that's been going on, man. Out here on these freeways and man, all the people just dropping like flies and
Yeah.
And notice that, man. Y'all don't road rage, man. Don't get pissed off. Don't road rage, man. Don't lose your life, man,
Town going
over
crazy.
a momentary interaction.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, y'all ever been to New York and seen the
Yes.
road rage in New York?
Yes, I've been in New York.
Motherfuckers crazy in New York. I see why people don't drive in New York. I mean the traffic,
Yeah.
but you could just cut the radio off and motherfucker, fuck you, beep beep, punk ass nigga.
I'm telling you, a lot of with California people, if they ain't never been to New York in the traffic, the way motherfuckers be jaywalking and shit,
Yeah.
you get your ass ran over 5 times in within 4 seconds in New York.
Yeah.
But
You're
they
not
say that's
serving.
also that's how they know you ain't from there though. If you sit there and wait for the shit to turn
All
and
timid
say
and
walk,
shit.
they like, oh, this motherfucker can't be from here.
But they're not stopping for you though.
Yeah,
New York,
you gotta
New
be
York.
smart about it. But
They will hit you in New York. You got to
And
trip
give
that
2 fucks.
people didn't, you know, they got a whole city of a lot of immigration and stuff like that where a lot of people didn't learn how to drive in the United States. Like when I was in Haiti, you know, there wasn't no stop signs and shit, and I was in the capital.
Roundabouts.
So I
and
mean,
stuff.
yeah, so I mean, just think you come to America and that's how you've been driving for 10, 15 years. You like, man, fuck that red light.
It would just merge. You just flow.
Right.
I was in the Bahamas and saw that. It was roundabouts and motherfuckers just merging in. And I'm sitting there like, there's no fucking lights. What the fuck is going on? That motherfucker like, man, you just drive that bitch. And I'm sitting there like, no. I'm just going to just drive this bitch. We need red lights. Yo, you need order. This is chaos.
In Ghana, they had a 1-lane freeway, and it's going in both directions, right? But it's only 1 lane. So if somebody driving hella slow and there's no speed limit, you got to drive into imposing traffic with no speed limit. So you see the other car coming, but you don't know how fast they coming because they could be doing 100. And you got to drive into the other lane to get in front of this motherfucker going slow. So in Africa, when I should have said in Ghana. In Ghana, I just went to sleep when it was time to get on the road. Like the rule, Haiti too. The rules is too different. Let me just take my ass to sleep. You would have a heart attack in that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Holding on.
Oh, I was holding on to the thing like this. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, let me just
doing,
close
man?
my... Yeah, I don't want to stress blood out, so let me just... He grew up here.
He got it. Fuck it.
He got
Local, he got it.
Right.
And if we get smacked, fuck it. I'd rather be asleep. Just sit there
Exactly.
experiencing the terror.
Right. Be spooked seeing it hit.
Right. It's like, oh, what we doing? Like, nah, I feel you on that one. Shit.
I want to get into the African movie business, man. I need some people on the ground over there. Because Nollywood is eating.
yeah,
They're not eating compared to America, but for the production levels that they put in there, they are actually eating.
I just seen something, and I don't know if it was from a movie or something where, and maybe it might have, or it was something. Well, this dude had his female, and I think I sent it to y'all in our message, y'all. That he tell the chick, "Oh, close your eyes, whatever, get down." She got on her knees, and he gave her a box. And he's like, "Okay, now you propose to me." She like, "Huh?"
That's the Nollywood.
I don't know if it's a movie, but it's African. It's African. And he like, yeah, you proposed to me. She like, why would I propose to you? Like, all these chicks that want me, that want to be in where you at, I'm giving you the opportunity to, you propose to me. And I'm sitting there like, is this a movie? Like, I'm sitting there like, is this a movie? This shit, I sent it to y'all earlier, but this shit was funny as fuck.
Yeah, Nollywood be having some wild shit going on. I'll be what? You know, I was gonna tell you that that they on the plane. When you be going international, they got Nollywood movies on the plane.
Netflix is actually has more Nollywood movies than they have content created by American black creators.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Nollywood is bigger on Netflix than American creators.
Yeah.
American
Because they
black
package
black
it,
creators.
and when Netflix figures out that you are black, and they start shifting shit to your algorithm, they're gonna sit there and
More
a lot of
Nollywood.
it is basically due to, as an American black filmmaker, I'm not gonna accept less than 250,000 to put my film on there, especially since they have certain levels of requirements for stars and everything like that. But they can shoot somebody over there 15,000-20,000, so that the content is cheaper. And many of us, since we have a flat blackness, if it's black people on the screen, we just gonna watch it without even looking at that they're giving them crumbs. And sometimes it's not necessarily true, but sometimes we gotta remember Netflix is a company out of Los Gatos over there, run by white liberals, and they often differentiate between who's easy to deal with black and who's not, and they have the perception that us are not easy to deal with. And the reason I say it's not easy to deal with because you can't make a black joke in front of me. You can't be a white boy using the N-word. I don't give a fuck what past they gave you in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
And if I see some bullshit, I'm gonna be like, hey, hold on, man, that bullshit. Whereas they might think blacks from other type of cultures are easier to deal with, and they also don't know their worth due to economics, so they'd rather deal with them than us.
Interesting.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, instead of us addressing that, if you go on Twitter or something like that, it turns into a diaspora war between us.
Mm-hmm.
That Nollywood filmmaker over there ain't my enemy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even though
They use
we are pitched against each other. That
We
brother from
understand.
Ghana, that brother from Cameroon who picked up a camera and made him, he ain't my enemy.
Right. It's the people in between.
Netflix and Hulu is my enemy.
Right.
But you'll see me going in on him.
Right.
And so that but we know how the game goes.
That's what they do.
It's just it's divide and conquer for the modern age.
Exactly. I mean,
Just like right now, I see on Twitter a lot of people is mad at Afrobeats artists, and Afrobeats is getting the push through clear. The dude making Afrobeats ain't your enemy because he don't own Clear Channel.
Right.
He don't own Live Nation. He don't own Rock Nation.
Right.
That's the enemy, not him. But if they can keep us fighting, it's cool.
Yeah, keep you distracted. And then I can have Sleepy Joe on the podium, half sleep, telling y'all some shit that y'all believe.
Well, you know you're not black if you don't support him.
You know what they say.
Well,
Here come the new boss, same as the old boss.
Well, he says you wasn't black, but you also seen his son smoking a crack pipe, so
Exactly.
measure it in between that.
Yes, maybe he is black.
Dolphin coming to all races.
You're right about that. There's more white dolphins than blacks.
Cheers.
But the white boys rock they coke up from powder, so they'll get drug diversion. You'll get 10 to 15 times on the sentencing when they used to have those drug laws that Sleepy Joe helped push. So his son get caught smoking that pipe. He'll say it came from powder. He'll get drug diversion. Your ass getting that, you're gonna get 5 years minimum mandatory in the feds.
Rockefeller law, yeah.
Yeah. Shame the way they do us.
That our hero, Bill Clinton and
Y'all
Joe Biden them
Yeah, somebody else here.
helped push through, and then they told you a couple pastors in Harlem was begging for it. Y'all begged us for these laws.
And the Sigmas made that motherfucker honorary member too. How dare you?
Who?
The Sigmas. They made Bill Clinton an honorary member.
Well, you know, he put on them shades.
And played that trumpet, that saxophone.
He got invited to the cookout, him and Gary Owens.
No, thank you. I'll pass.
As a person who has fought so
Blackest
hard
thing
into the
Bill Clinton ever
community
did
and
was
stuff
get
like
some
that,
head on the job.
how do you feel about when you see people talking about, this one's invited to the cookout, or using their voice and their celebrity platforms to sometimes push some complete bullshit? How does that really touch you, man?
I mean, I don't want to be a part of that cookout, so I don't really get bothered by it. I'm not going to be at that party with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I look at the world in class, and so a lot of times people that's trying to be accepted and assimilated and invite people to the cookout, they're not people that I really associate with. You know, on social, we can say what's up. I ain't mad at you, but that's not really who I associate with. My people is trying to rebel against something more so than invite and be ingratiated by white folks and invite people to the cookout and tell people if they do this they can't. I mean, most white people ain't even gonna meet me unless they got something to do with my business or furthering what we gonna do or trying to do. But other than that, I'm not in the business of smiling and trying to be Hollywood or trying to get something from them. And I think that's, I think that's why I said I think it's a different class of people. I'm ghetto, grassroots. I think that's like petty bourgeoisie. That's the ass kissing class.
We're the motherfuckers from the Motisa tribe.
The
Motisa.
So yeah, that's how I feel about it. But I don't get offended. I just look at it as different.
Right.
You know,
So you don't look at it from an adversarial point of view. It's just more of a just different lane.
just a different lane, different people. It's not for me, but it's over here. You know, and you're not letting them come to your cookout? Oh, okay. Because I ain't coming anyway either.
So y'all might as well do you. Do whatever y'all finna do.
Do it, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, I don't get offended. You seen your brother Boots with his new movie, huh?
That the TV show?
Yeah, but we can't promote it because he said don't promote it because they don't strike.
No, he
right
actually
now.
clarified it. We can promote now.
The strike over?
The strike isn't over, but you can, if it's content that was created before the strike, you can promote. I just saw him say it on Instagram that he can promote it now.
Okay, well, he got I'm a Virgo. It's different, but you know that's what you expect from Boots. I seen it.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward
it's
to
about
checking
I
it
saw
out.
the trailer. It looked
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean, it was different. You got Mike Epps in the first few episodes. It's about a 13-foot boy who lives in Oakland,
Mhm.
and then Mike Epps is his father, and he's trying to protect him from Oakland life. So they built this big ass house, and then finally, some little ghetto youngsters. One of them is real political, but they hood. They find out about this 13-foot boy, and they take him out to the hood and take him to the sideshow and give him some pussy and smoke weed with him and shit.
Life-altering
And
experience.
so it's not like Sorry to Bother You. It's for the adults. It's to me it looked like it's for a younger crowd, but it's dope though.
Okay, I'm gonna look
But
forward.
it's like
I'm gonna
a-
check that out.
It seemed almost like a teenager. It's like some teenager shit though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I think it's dope though. But it's some teenager shit.
That's what's up. Yeah, shout out
Yeah.
to Boots, man. Doing your thing, bro.
Yeah, what y'all think about Sorry to Bother You? You seen that?
Yes, that shit was different, but it was factual on so many levels, and it was deep because when you look at the whole thing of the horse, the horse, you look at the things that they put in your body and the way they feed you, and basically a horse is, I look at it as the horse is on the farm to plow to get to work, and that's how they looked at. That's what niggas is. To them, there's nothing but farm animals to work. Like
Facts.
Cube said in Higher Learning, run, nigga, run. And Boots did that shit so dope, and it was wild, but it was like, but that's it.
Let me show you something. I know y'all are film historians.
Mm-hmm.
You know what was interesting about about this movie? It was really a remix of Which Way Is Up.
Mm-hmm. With fantastical elements thrown in. I can
But
see
it
that.
was the major themes of the movie was all the same as Which Way Is Up. They was a group of people was trying to get a low income job. They was broke. They was trying to get a job. They got a job. Then they start getting organized. Then the industry bosses buy one of them out. Then they buy him out. He got conflict with his old partners, and then he go off with the people, the industry.
Yeah.
That's Which Way Is Up.
Yeah.
But that's also the plot of this.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Well,
certain things gotta come
are
back.
universal.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
certain things got to come back, and we should revisit them. So I'm not knocking it because after from 1970s to now, you know what I mean? It's about that time to come back.
Well, it's a cultural thing. Like when I was a youngster, I thought blaxploitation films was just comical. Like we would watch them and just die laughing, making a mockery of them and shit like that. But now that I've butted my head in this industry so many times, and I find myself in the position that, I'm the griot now. I'm the storyteller, and I look back and I be like, man, them themes of them movies, man, cats keeping it authentic and how they talk, putting their foot in the man's ass and all that shit. Man, if I don't have some elements of that in my movies, I feel like a failure. And I know some people say art for art's sake and all that type of shit, but I believe if you are an artist, then what you truly believe should be reflected in your movies.
I seen a lot of that though, kind of like on a different note, but like I didn't trip off. The internet got me tripping off how much Red Fox said nigga though, and them TV shows.
Red
It's
was
like-
unfiltered.
That was something that you just didn't do. Like even now, it's like he said the N-word. So you could say it all day on the street, but try to say it in a film, not a movie. But I'm saying like on
And he was doing this in
a
the
sitcom.
70s.
If you say nigga on a sitcom, that shit's done, bro. For real. Like Martin and them couldn't say that shit. You know what I mean?
No.
But he was always saying the shit.
On an episode of Good Times, a couple episodes, James said nigga
Yeah.
a few times.
You got. I remember on episode of Sanford and Son, Esther said it when the one guy that was saying
That's
that
what I'm
Lamont
talking
was
about,
his
Red
son,
Fox.
and she stood up, was like, he's like, yeah, because me and your sister and Lamont's my son. She got up like, nigga, what?
And
That's what
remember,
I'm saying,
remember the
Red
episode
Fox,
of Good
that's his
Times
show.
when JJ was dating that highfalutin girl
Mhm.
and her parents came
He
over?
said highfalutin.
And then James said, didn't y'all hear? There's niggas here. Remember that?
Yeah.
You got plenty of shows where.
What was
Dave
the
said-
what was the mama on
What's happening?
the Jeffersons?
Oh,
Louise?
Louise.
Yeah, and I remember one episode
Louise?
she told George, "Nigga, please,"
Mm-hmm.
and it was this moment,
Mm-hmm.
like the editor's pause, like now you can react.
They do that shit.
And now we don't have those same restrictions, but to go there with the art now is still, we place restrictions on ourselves because they were kind of daring because they had to fit into these narrow boxes, but they still did things that you could consider subversive, but they had to slide it in. And now we have the freedom to do whatever, but we won't. We're just, like I said, I used to mock that shit in the 70s and laugh at it. And now that it's our turn and we up, I realize them dudes was really doing some shit, and we don't got the balls to go there where they went. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some cats that's in the straight genre of I'm trying to do the right thing. It don't work. Let me go get a dope bag and live this cocaine fantasy. Them type of movies, and you see them all day on Tubi. They still kind of daring. But anybody that's any type of
We got
that speak to any type of social issues or anything, or speak to anything that's actually going on within the community, we try to keep it.
What about
Kind of
Spike Lee?
straight-laced.
You think he could? You think
Spike
he
be
do
all
that,
over
or
the
you
place.
think he don't do that? Because y'all the filmmakers, I don't know.
Spike, see, I'm mixed on Spike because Do the Right Thing is arguably in the top 10 or top 5 of black movies ever made, right? But then he's also marched out some real bullshit, like the Black Klansmen and shit
Yeah.
like that. And I remember
Straight
Boots
up.
called him out on that, and instead of people actually trying to see what Boots' actual critique was, which is making the police the hero,
Right.
Same thing they did in Black Panther.
people came
Same thing
around and
Ryan Coogler
actually
did, right.
people actually came around and tried
Both
to say Boots was just merely speaking from jealousy or envy, because the Black Klansmen obviously commercially did bigger than Sorry to Bother You. But if somebody would have actually stopped and listened to what Boots was actually saying, because sometimes even if you can't understand what a person's saying, try to at least grasp the intent. Try to grasp the meaning of what they were saying, and it was, how can Spike Lee, a man who made Malcolm X, a man which was also top 10 black movie, a man who made Do the Right Thing, a man who made School Days, which got a lot of cats in the late 80s actually went and enrolled in school trying to relive the School Days experience. How can you turn around and make a movie like The Black Klansman?
But he made the Army movie too, though. So I mean, when I
In
get
5 months, yeah.
the
Oh,
interview-
yeah, that
the
was a good
interview,
movie.
You know, I got at Spike personally about, you know, we got into it before about the Huey Newton movie. I felt like he made Huey Newton look like a dope fiend. I hated the movie. I even told
Which
Roger
one was
Guinevere,
that?
with Roger Guinevere doing the one-man play, the Huey Newton story.
Mm-hmm.
I told Spike, I had him too one day. I told him, we slap the shit out you, Spike. This ain't Hollywood, dog. Don't play with our shit like that. We'll beat your ass out here. This is not Hollywood. And Be Legit was there. Be Legit seen me say that. But Spike was, you know, I feel like Spike is kind of like Ryan Coogler. And I feel like it's a mixed bag. But with Ryan Coogler, to speak, and I think I'm going to say this and probably piss a lot of people off, I feel like he's a modern day COINTELPRO producer. I feel like all his movies divert the real interests of black people to some bullshit. So you have Oscar Grant, the first movie, Fruitvale Station. The movie is completely false. Nothing that happened in the movie happened in real life. He didn't give the lady the recipe on his grandmama's food in Whole Foods. He didn't dump out the ounce of weed. He didn't save the dog life. If he didn't do all that, what the fuck is the movie about? What the movie is about is to divert the attention onto one man who wasn't really even about it. He happened to die, unfortunately, but it was about the movement of people that didn't even know who Oscar Grant was. They just saw a black man and saw themselves. So they make this about Oscar Grant the Angel, even though it wasn't even about him. Go look it up. Then he did what, Creed. He bring white boy, what's his name, Rocky ass back. You know, using black people to bring the Rocky franchise back. You know what I'm saying? Sylvester Stallone been dead for 25 years. I mean, in the acting business. You know what I'm saying? The third movie was Black Panther, where they had the secret vibranium that they was protecting the CIA agent, and they didn't do nothing but give the vibranium to the UN, which is U.S. imperialism, U.S. and Western imperialism. And then so they sold out that.
Killmonger was actually correct.
Yeah, Killmonger was correct, but then he actually wasn't, because he was at MIT too, so fuck that police nigga too. He was from MIT, he was CIA. They told you that.
But he went bad on them though.
I don't know if you did. No, he went bad on Wakanda. That don't necessarily mean he put.
But his plan was though to make the world bow.
I don't think that he had a spelled enough plan for us to say he was a freedom fighter. Yes, there was a war between him and his bourgeois cousin. He was the equivalent
of the spook that sat by the door.
I disagree. I think that he was working with white people to get into Wakanda. A white man was the first one to bring him into Wakanda, so I wouldn't call him a spook. He had elements of a monkey. Not a gorilla. He'd do shit for some tricks too.
Killmonger had the full intent to make the world bow before Wakanda.
You know what I think? I think that showed the power of the writing, because they're giving you an enemy. I mean, they're giving you somebody to believe in. To me, Killmonger was trained by the CIA just like the Black Panther was. You know what I'm saying? So me, I mean,
they didn't want the world to believe in it, but me looking at it with my eyes, I was like, Killmonger was actually the hero.
But in my eyes, in a revolutionary sense, there is no hero. The CIA can't produce a Messiah for me. They produced Killmonger, and they told you in the movie, so they can't produce.
But he went against their ethos.
He didn't go against them. They didn't kill him. Wakanda did. If he went against the CIA, they would have killed him. Wakanda and his brother and some black shit killed him. So that's the third movie.
That's the black on black crime.
That was the third movie. So then what, the fourth movie was Black Panther. The fourth movie was about Fred Hampton, right? But they want to tell the Fred Hampton story just like Black Klansman. They told the Fred.
Which movie is?
What's the Fred Hampton movie that Ryan Coogler did?
You talking this Judas and the Black Messiah?
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan Coogler? I didn't even realize he did that.
Yeah, he did that. And so if you look at that movie, you look at, it's the Fred Hampton story, but through the eyes of the agent. Why we gotta tell our story shit, fuck it. Tell the Jewish story through the eyes of Hitler.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna do that, but they do that shit to black people. They even get the let me drop this bombshell. They even got Fred Hampton family with that. They backed it. Go look it up.
Did Fred Hampton Jr. back it?
Yes.
Or just his family?
No, I said yes. Yes. Go look it up. Don't take my word. So me, I'm against.
Now I will say this in regards to that. With all due respect to your critique, and you're looking at the revolutionaries, if you look at it from an artistic point of view, though, these are masterfully made movies.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about cinematography?
I'm talking about art.
Oh, okay. You talking about like colors and costumes and shit?
No, I'm talking about like even the storytelling, the themes I put together.
No. Themes are very political. So I mean, don't say they're a masterpiece. Maybe in monkey business art, maybe in COINTELPRO art. Let's keep it real. If you got a punk ass nigga thing,
is one of the best filmmakers out there. He really puts together. Like for instance, you said the Oscar Grant story. A lot of that is fictionalized. That was something I wasn't aware of it. But without really knowing the Oscar Grant story, if a person goes in and watches that movie, the emotional heartstrings and stuff, like a person will come out and be like, wow, this was really a great movie. Now a person like yourself on the ground,
with all due respect, they didn't learn a motherfucking thing. That he got killed. You could have learned that when you could have seen that in the trailer.
It was a good movie.
And that's all it was. It was totally fictional.
Remember I mentioned to you.
But let me say this, because you're not letting me finish. You're not letting me finish anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying you can't have a bullshit theme, in my opinion, and it be a good movie. You know what I'm saying? It has to be well thought out, well pushed, and I gotta support the theme, and it can't go against blackness. You know what I'm saying? All these nigga movies go against blackness. So if you call it a masterpiece, I mean, I call it monkey movies. You know, I'm in the gorilla shit, black gorilla shit.
I'm talking from a filmmaker's perspective.
I can say from a vegetarian perspective, I don't give a fuck about that. I don't from a bourgeois perspective say that because you got to split it on class. So it's the grassroots and it's the bourgeois, and the bourgeois niggas want to infiltrate and be with the white people, and the agent telling it right next to the rev. That's cool. Nah, that's a bourgeois perspective. They're gonna lie about one of the biggest movements since 2010. They lie. Oh, that's okay. That's a bourgeois perspective. Me, I just ain't with the bourgeois perspective, and I ain't knocking nobody that is, but no, I'm with the ghetto people's grassroots shit. Right. So me, and we even share a cousin, and my cousin though, fuck that nigga. Ryan Coogler know I said, fuck that nigga. His family probably watching, fuck that nigga.
So who is your favorite black filmmaker? That's like, that's on, not like.
My favorite black filmmaker? I like what's the name that did Posse? With him and his dad.
Mario Van Peebles?
The Van Peebles. I like both of them. You know,
rest in peace to Melvin.
Spook Who Sat by the Door was a good movie. Recently, the Queen Njinga, Land of Angola. Njinga, Queen of Angola. That's what you saying, like you were saying, like the cinematography on Wakanda. Mm-hmm. Go look up that movie, right? It's in Portuguese. The whole Wakanda shit is stolen from that shit, and that the Women King shit is stolen from that shit too.
I ain't seen that shit.
But no, Njinga, Queen of Angola is better than all of that shit. It's better than all that shit. Black people was in good role, all the shit. Mm-hmm. It's not none of that monkey ass shit where we gotta like the colors and like, oh, it's black people doing shit, but we selling all our shit out to the white man.
What do you think about the actors and actresses that play in those roles that take on these big jobs in movies that basically you think is bullshit?
So you saying, like, you asking me, like, what do I think about the people that bring the Uncle Toms to life? What I think about that?
Yeah.
I think that's it. I just repeated it back to you and gave you your answer. What do I think about a nigga that put on a monkey suit? Wait, hold on, let me finish, because you asked me a question. Let me answer that. What do I think about a nigga that put on a monkey suit? So let me finish, man. What do I think about a nigga that put on a monkey suit and do some anti-black nigga shit that make niggas laugh and entertain niggas like Tyler Perry type shit? That's what you asking me, right? That's what you was asking me?
No, that ain't what I'm asking.
Because that's what I think. Because that's the kind of movies that I think he's talking about. So that's how I interpret it. So yeah, I don't see a good actor in a monkey suit.
If I say he ain't gonna let me. He gonna
right.
Yeah, that's how I don't.
I'm just saying. So what about?
So
you think all the black actors that's been in a movie from Spike Lee is some Uncle Tom ass niggas? That's what you saying?
Wait, you say it again? Say it again. Wait, say it again. Say it again.
You think all the black actors that done been in Spike Lee movies
or Tyler Perry
or Tyler movies is some Uncle Tom?
I didn't say that. I didn't put that out there about anybody. I said that about Tyler Perry himself. You know what I'm saying?
No, I asked you about.
No, I know. You gotta
you gotta let me. You gotta let me.
Okay, finish. Go ahead.
That's my thing. So you think that all the actors?
No.
Okay, so they get a pass, but the nigga that wrote it don't get a pass.
No, I'm saying that the niggas that's in monkey movies and the niggas that act in it, all them niggas is enemies psychologically to black people. That's what
I agree with you right now.
So they are enemies psychologically to black people because we're gonna emulate seeing ourselves on film, and we're gonna naturally psychologically emulate it if we like it in any type of way, or if we relate to it in any type of way. So to me, and I'm not saying that I'm not guilty of it to some extent, because we could look at rap the same way. You know what I'm saying? But the rappers that I'm gonna promote is people like Ascari X and Tupac and Boots. Like when I come on Cognac Confessionals, you don't see me promoting. Spike Lee didn't come out my mouth. That came out your mouth. Who came out my mouth? Boots. Because I feel like he pushing the culture forward. So whatever platform I got, I'm gonna try to push what we need to push, even rather than smashing on the monkey niggas.
That's what's up.
But if we need to address it, if you ask me about the monkey niggas, I'll tell you what I think.
There's a lot of actors that I respect, you know what I'm saying? And
Like
I'm not as well versed as like all the movies
Like
you
who
name.
though?
I don't know half the movies you named. I ain't gonna even lie.
Like, who do you respect as an actor? Who's your favorite actor?
Denzel.
Denzel's dope. Denzel's dope.
Yeah,
Well,
for
who
sure.
else that I'm saying not on the super level? That's like saying I like Michael Jackson. Most people grew up on like that.
I like Lakeith Stanfield.
Who is that? Which one is that? Oh, Lakeith. That was sorry to Bobby. He's dope.
Yeah, I even like Denzel's son, John David Washington.
I ain't up on him. I like the black Latino dude that was in what was the little meth series on Netflix? When they was the bus, they was cooking meth on the bus, but it's
you talking about
what's the black Latino dude name? He playing a lot of movies. He an old school dude from the 70s.
Oh no, you talking about
Yeah.
What you
say his name is?
Giancarlo.
Yes,
I like
Giancarlo.
him. I like him.
Giancarlo's a beat. That brother has range.
I like him. I like him.
That brother, hey,
You know what movie I'm talking about? The series?
you talking about Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
Okay,
But, yeah.
The black Latino dude that
Yeah.
was the criminal nigga.
Yeah.
I like him.
Remember,
I
he
like
was in
this
school
cat,
days.
Idris.
But wait, because I think you was asking me a question too, like, do every movie got to be a freedom fighter movie? No, but every movie can't be anti-black though. Like Breaking Bad, that's a white movie. I can watch that. I like the theme of it. It's not nothing anti-black in it, per se. You know what I mean? So I'm not judging it like that. But now if you got a hella just black criminals in your shit, y'all torturing black people, and black people is just entertained, I'm not with that shit.
No, but I was saying like, because you said you didn't like Wakanda because of
It has
all
a
the reasons
political
that you
theme.
named. But then I'm saying, what about the actors that took that role, that took that $5 million or that $10 million to feed their family, and it just sounded like you saying fuck them.
All right, well let me ask you something. Let me ask you a question then. Let me just rephrase it to you and re-put it back to you. Don't sometimes master take one of us out and from the masses and give us that big check so that a nigga can let's take the NBA for example, right? The NBA, we got million children in the United States that's fighting for less than 400 jobs a year. Really less than that. The draft is less than that.
It's only 15 spots per team. Yeah, exactly.
So you got a million children fighting for that, right? So that means somebody is going to get left out. They paying us, and they got us our mind frame so whooped into that. Where look at where society is going. All black people is producing is rappers, athletes, and niggas that make podcasts. That's all we doing as black people. Where's our doctors?
There's a fourth.
And hoes.
Thank you.
Hoes and drug
bitches
dealers.
that be twerking and be on
And hoes and drug dealers.
these reality shows where they go take trips and drink
And-
and get mad and fight with each other.
And I'm not knocking people per se for what they do, but I'm just saying that we shouldn't be limited to 4 things. And so I'm against when all we do is contribute to that. You know what I'm saying? And acting like that's the only thing that we can do. You know what I'm saying? What about the community center boss? What about the father that helped? I mean, I don't know. I just
So what you think is the reason why I asked you that earlier was because what do you think is how do we solve the issue? That's what because I'm not saying you per se, but we got a tendency as black people to say we don't like this person or we don't like that person for doing something that generated money or was successful for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? Because like I kind of feel like him, and this is my personal opinion. Now, to me, I look at gangster rap for example. Motherfuckers get mad at gangster rap because a nigga said that he popped this nigga or he did that or he sold these drugs. But then a nigga can make a movie and kill 50 people in the movie, and then they give this nigga an award, but then he a thug because he said he killed 2 people. You know what I mean? So it's like, my thing is, where do we draw the line as a society, you know what I'm saying, as far as what success is as art?
Well, let me ask you this. In American culture, I first off, let me just say that's a great question. But let me ask you this. Is anybody killing 50 people on TV, whether they black or white?
Hell
Is
yeah,
that
there's
healthy?
movies.
No, listen to my question, bro. Do you think that that's healthy? Whether the black,
I don't.
if they could kill 50 people, do the black people need to be able to kill 51 people? And my thing is,
That's
especially
equality,
from,
right? That's equality, though, right? In the artistic expression.
But like Cube said, who are they to be equal to? We need to set up our own motherfucking foundation of where they operating from a whole different foundation. We operating from a whole different deficit.
Now, one of our viewers has a question for you.
Yeah, come with it.
She says, and this is Keisha.
Try to
She says, okay, he is saying, it's a two-part question. Okay, he is saying all this stuff, but how is he holding his people, black people, in his world accountable? And then she says, we as black people are always talking.
Hold on, let me answer one at a time.
Okay.
How am I holding them accountable? Go read sfbayview.com right now, and you will see me addressing rappers that I know. And we talking about rap's influence on the kidnapping of young women in Oakland and how it's made the prostitution, pimping, and how we didn't create that culture per se, but we modernized it, to quote one of my partners in saying it. And we keep reinforcing it. So now when a little girl is hoeing, we don't even think twice. Now when these little girls is getting snatched off the street, it ain't even, we too worried about Town Up Tuesday, didn't worry about that. We worried about 420, then worry about our daughters. Every rapper that I named, I'm naming people like Too Short, D-Lo, Fab. They all make music that can be seen as anti-women. All them niggas got daughters. I got a daughter. I got daughters. So I'm saying that to say, do we love hip-hop more than we love our daughters? Do we love impressing niggas with this bullshit more than we love the safety of our daughters? That's what's important to me as a father.
That's what's up.
Well, the term cognitive dissonance comes to mind.
I agree 100%.
Because
Franz Fanon made that term. What does that term mean so that they know?
I mean, sometimes you can disassociate yourself. Like, for instance,
It's a civil war in the mind. That's what it means.
Like,
You
for
have a war in
instance,
the mind.
I have multiple daughters, and I would catch a bullet for one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the treatment that I gave to their mothers and random women that I've come across would make the protectiveness that I have for my own daughters almost hypocritical.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just to keep it all the way 100%. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think a lot of these artists are suffering from that because some of those brothers you named, I know they'll catch a slug for their daughters, but I also know that their music though is about pimping a bitch and breaking a bitch and and all that.
Y'all saying exactly, and it's not about their daughters. What about the little girl
that
that don't? Wait, what about the little girl? Let me ask you a
daughters.
question. What about the little girl that don't have a father, and she learned from this music?
Yeah.
Because I was one of them people that didn't have a father. I learned a lot from the music. Luckily, I was guided in the right way.
Now, Shizzle, can you read the second part of Keisha's statement?
Yes, hold on. Give me, let me. Her second, where is it? Here we go. She says, okay, you read because she said a few things in this shit.
He asked accountable.
Accountable, hold on.
I do actively play a part in holding our community accountable. It's an article on sfbayview.com talking about the kidnappings of, and I'm involved in the campaign to fight that.
We as black, okay, this is from her. We as black people always talking this inspirational talk, speeches, etc., but fail to hold ourselves and the people in their world accountable. Black people has to stop wanting to be accepted by white people. I've championed that for the longest.
I champion, but she talking to somebody else because I hold my people accountable, so she ain't talking to me. Go ahead.
And she says, are you coming into the black unresourced communities holding these people accountable? I've
been in the black unresourced ghetto community. I was born here, and I've been holding people accountable. So, hey, go past the accountability stuff. She just keeps saying something she don't know what she's talking about in reference to me.
I don't even think it's really. People keep bringing up white people, and that to me that's a scapegoat. Is being accountable to white people. Niggas be more impressed.
We live in a society where assimilation is important.
At the end of the day, but during the day, niggas is too busy trying to impress each other with bullshit. That's the thing. To be the nigga to say, I made this movie. To be the nigga to say, I was acting in this movie.
So what you're saying though? I don't see real point. What you're saying?
What I'm saying is niggas need to it ain't, to me, you can get too focused on the white and black shit instead of focusing about yourself and being responsible to what's good and what's bad as a person on this planet. Not just as white or black.
But to
not
address
just
what
as
you said,
Asian or whatever.
To address what you're saying and also to address what Keisha is saying, Keisha is saying, you know, because Keisha made the comment about investing in unresourced black and brown communities, and then you saying using basically white people as the benchmark of being in this. It's a double-edged sword. Like for what Keisha is doing in the unresourced community is a noble thing. She's investing when knowing her temperament, knowing she has small children and all that.
So
she's
you know
investing in real estate. Yeah, I know her personally. She could. A lot of people in her same position would have bought a big house out in Antioch and did it moving. Basically be close to white folks. And what you're saying is the same thing. We have almost been conditioned to a mentality that we want to be next to white folks. We want to be in the white person's movie. We want to go to the white person's awards, the Grammys, this and that, because we are unfortunately a subclass in America, and we are conditioned to view whiteness as the default standard, and so many of us fall into that they want to be close to that. They want to live in that. They want their entertainment. If they come be in one of my movies, it's just some bullshit. They go be in one of their movies, they feel like they made it.
Go be in Spike Lee movie, you made it. But if you be in a Pharaoh movie, you didn't make it.
I'll give you an example. I once had an actress, a particular actress, basically being really demanding of me, and basically on some girl shit, right? And somebody else said that they went out to the Netflix used to have a show called 13 Reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were filming, and this person was also on that show. And on that show, production assistants would be telling them, shut the fuck up. They'd be like, oh, we need to use the bathroom. Ain't no bathroom right now. Shut the fuck up. Get in line. Like, they would be getting blatantly disrespected to be a part of this Netflix show. And we was over here where medias meet, basically treating them like queens that came from heaven, and they was acting like it wasn't good enough. And what was the difference? That was a white show.
What's the boy name? What's the father name in Crooklyn? Crooklyn, one of my favorite movies that Spike Lee made. What's the father name in Crooklyn? Because he lived on.
Delroy Lindo.
Yeah, like let me give you an example of him. I interviewed him on KPFA one time.
Another organization I represent.
Okay, they racist as hell. They racist as hell, and they ban me. And I can't stand it. They white liberal.
Not the business side. The workers.
Okay, well, they racist too. They didn't defend it either when Nigel Foster got beat. So, KPFA, they kind of on that. You know how Richard Pryor said them white liberals can kiss my ass too? That's who he was talking about, literally, them in Berkeley.
Mm-hmm.
But what was we talking about? We was talking about something else. What was we talking about?
Oh, how that they will go on to
we was talking about Delroy Lindo. So Delroy Lindo came to KPFA, right? And I had studied what he was doing. He didn't do nothing at the black rep. He was doing his play at the Berkeley rep. You know, for the people that's watching that don't know nothing about the locale, the black rep is the black people's rep. Mm-hmm. You know, that's where the black plays are at. He was doing it at the Berkeley rep where the white plays are at. And so we invited him up there. He assumed I didn't know nothing about him. I told you that Crooklyn was one of my favorite movies. Mm-hmm. He was very short-tempered and all that because he was directing the play, but I missaid that he was acting in the play, and he tried to check me on the air. So I had to check him like, hold on, bro, because he didn't know I knew. You did act in the play. In 1985, you did act in the play too. You just directing it now. But would he have did that with any kind of white person? You know what I'm saying? With his British accent. And nigga, you been in the United States 30 years, nigga. You ain't got that same motherfucking accent. You British ass, pinky up, punk ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about assimilation ass niggas, even from the Spike Lee crew, because he asked about the Spike Lee crew, Delroy is one of his guys. That nigga was on some monkey shit at KPFA, and he live in the Bay. He live in the Bay. What else he played? He played West Indian Archie and Malcolm X.
He played in the
He was the father movie in Crooklyn.
Yeah, and he was in the movie with
when you beat him, he'd be like this if you black.
Yeah, he the one that made the statement about with Chadwick. They was making the one of Chadwick's last movie,
The Five Bloods.
Yeah, and he was like, man, he seemed all pampered and this and that, but he didn't know he was going through his cancer shit. And once after, and he was like, oh, I didn't understand. So I get you.
Yeah, niggas tone deaf. Tone deaf.
Delroy Lindo looked like he could be LeBron James' daddy.
You You know, and he looked like Bill Clinton's servant.
Sweet.
What y'all think about Proswell? Did y'all hear about that?
Oh yeah. Okay, motherfucker.
A lot of people.
No, did
got
you
this-
hear the
we think
specifics
that's
on it?
I
twisted.
didn't. Yeah.
So Proswell from the Fugees got caught being a foreign agent
For China.
from the Chinese government and funneling tens of millions of dollars to the campaign of Barack Obama, but Proswell's the only one that went to jail. And he's doing 20 years.
It's sort of
That
like
just happened. And he said that he was a confidential informant. I'm talking about one time, Proswell with the Fugees.
Yeah.
And the boy just went down on some high-level international
yeah.
confidential informant, funneling Chinese money to Obama.
Let's not get it misconstrued, though. I mean, because
Or Barry Soetoro, whoever
let's
you
not
call
get
him.
let's not get it misconstrued, because that whole Fugees clique got on due to their connections with some of the Haitian elites who was mixed up with the CIA way before anybody even heard of a Barack Obama. It's why John Forte from their crew was able to get pardoned by Bush when no niggas was getting pardoned by
We
Bush.
can reference this because I heard this before.
You know what I'm saying?
Where y'all get this info at?
I mean, just being around, Duvalier,
But you
this
saying
and that.
that-
Wyclef's uncle, basically,
Baby Doc.
the CIA basically
That's how they got
helped
to
them
America.
get out of town. They was helping, the Haitian elite was helping
I'm trying
the drug smugglers and this and that.
From
They was
Colombia
mixed up
coming to
in
the
the
US,
CIA.
yeah.
They was using Haiti as a jumping off point. Haiti is still mixed up. They literally went in there not too long ago and
Knocked down the president.
Killed the president.
And nobody
baby.
went to jail. Not one hey, his security didn't even go to jail.
His security said, "Oh, they said they was the DEA, so we surrendered." Nigga, how the Secret Service go if some other government come in? Say we go to Canada, and whoever surrounded the Canadian Prime Minister and motherfuckers say we the DEA from America. They ain't gonna be like, "Oh, y'all can have blood." No, you gonna fight to the end. So I'm
Right,
sitting
but-
there like none of that story added up.
It sounded like they was bought off. They was bought off. They killed the president in his house and shot up his wife.
Yeah,
She got shot like 5 times. And then they took her to America to get treatment. So she lightweight a hostage while she getting
Yeah.
treatment.
Exactly.
Why did I say Pross was telling though? But
That's
you
the
know,
news.
I mean,
That's
you know,
the news.
it was like I'm sitting there like, wow. And then let's not forget Wyclef standing at the airport talking about he was in the hood saving babies and
No, you know what movie that you need to see that really tell they CIA connections? It's a movie called Goodbye Martha Lee on
Heard of
Netflix.
I'm
Huh?
not
I
familiar
heard
with
of that. I didn't
So
see it yet.
what it's about is it's about a lot of shit. But why we'll be interested in it is because it's about part of it. What it's about is Wyclef running for president in Haiti. But what we didn't know that Proswell already had his own candidate. Wyclef ran against Proswell's candidate. Proswell got another artist named Martha Lee, who was like he was like the 2 Live Crew of Haiti. Like he'd get naked and do hella shit on stage, but some shit ridiculous too. So he was like 2 Live Crew, old dirty bastard or something.
and he ran that dude for president.
Prize was running him for president.
This just sounds
Look,
outlandish.
Prize was running him for president. Then Wyclef was like, you don't want him for president? I'm finna run for president. But what's interesting in the movie, that's the telltale sign, Proswell say some weird shit in the movie like, we gonna run Martha Lee for president. You know what? We about to go ask Bill Clinton and Sean Penn.
Wow.
If you in motherfucking Haiti, what the fuck do Sean Penn is an actor. You asking Sean Penn and Bill Clinton if you can run a black man for president? That's Haitian. They ain't even from Haiti. So, I mean, they do say that, but I did an interview with Prize that's on YouTube, and I break him down politically because he didn't know I knew as much about Haiti. I've been to Haiti twice. He didn't know I knew as much about Haiti as I did, and I basically got him to say, you was promoting a sellout, bro, and the nigga was corrupt, and how you deal with that? And like, I hit him. It's on YouTube. J.R. and Prize was called, Traveling Film Circus, and it's Traveling Film Circus under JR. It's me and Prize. I get on his head and make him bow down and say that he lying and say that dude is corrupt on the interview.
The whole crew ended up janky on some other shit.
Lauren kept it 100. She's still in my top 5, man. I don't care what y'all say.
Did she settle that lawsuit yet?
Which lawsuit?
The one where she stole a lot of her co-creators' credit?
I don't know. I don't know the story on that. I can't speak. I don't know on that. I just know that Lauren kept it 100, and I know that Wycliffe fucked her up and that kind of shit. She kept the lyrics 100. The rest of them is CIA, bro.
She didn't know none of that?
I don't know. They was young, bro. I mean, if she did, I would be very surprised, because if she was CIA, she wouldn't be talking like that.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Planned opposition. What they call it? Planned opposition or controlled opposition?
Could be, but
If
she
I
do say,
feed both sides of the war, I win regardless.
well, both sides do gotta eat though.
I'm a huge.
You know what I mean? But I'm not saying feed you.
Yeah,
right
I don't
in
know.
one
Y'all
sense.
know more than this shit than
Why
I think.
Why not
Lauren-
the same? He said nigga was talking one time, nigga. He was one time.
He was one time.
You talking about
Props.
Probs.
He said what?
Probs going one time. He said
He was one time. For real. For real.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. A lot of people admire all this big time shit, this and that, but you can't be moving across millions, multi-millions across. Hell, it's hard to hustle across state lines or county lines. You moving internationally, this and that, you're going to be mixed in with them people. You know, you're going to be mixed in. People be like, oh, he never, this particular person didn't tell he was getting thousands of kilos from the cartel. Well, the cartel is mixed in with the CIA. And for him to get thousands of kilos across the border for years, this and that, he was mixed in with them people too by default.
You know what's funny? Remember they was mad at Beyonce. I think she took $1 million from Hannibal Gaddafi.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that, and did a party for $1 million?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was funny. Cause she don't support Muammar Gaddafi politics, but she'll do anything for some money. So that go back to what you saying. You saying you feel like I was hating on somebody getting some money. All money ain't good money.
No, I
But
didn't say
Gaddafi
that.
money good money. But I'm just saying all money ain't good money. Just because a black person getting some money don't mean a motherfucking thing to me if it don't change the masses in some way, or change the way we think about ourselves, or don't in some way run up against the system.
But
That
people
don't
got
affect
mad
me.
about Sun City, and it took years, but it helped dismantle apartheid, at least on the blatant level.
What's Sun City? Explain.
It was in South Africa. The whole movement became about, because all the popular entertainers, the Sammy Davis Jr.'s and everybody like that, was going to perform at this big casino in Sun City, which is in South Africa. But you would only have the black people weren't even allowed to attend, you know, because the basically Jim Crow that was going on over there. So people started pressuring. Eventually, Coke and the whole movement of divesting, and we're not going to support. If your company, Coca-Cola, is there, we're not going to buy it. That's part of how Sprite came about. Sprite was like, because black people got on some, we're not going to buy Coca-Cola, this and that. So that's why Sprite has always been marketed more urban. And a lot of people didn't even realize for a long time that Sprite was even owned by Coca-Cola. So that was their end run. Like, oh, y'all want to buy Coca-Cola? Let's give you this product over
Niggas
here.
dancing in the commercials and all that.
Right. Michael Jackson, them
But
moonwalking and shit.
hold on, before you answer that, just to be clear though, I wasn't saying you was hating on people that was getting money. As a talk show host, I'm trying to get your perspective on what you think about it, because these are the kind of questions that people are gonna ask. I honestly don't know a lot about none of them movies you was talking about. I do know more about the actors, so I just wanted to hear your perspective. So it wasn't, I don't want you to think that, bro.
No. We doing it for the show. I'm with you.
Yeah. But now, answer that question he just asked.
But yeah, so it took a long time, but
Wait, what's the question though?
the question was, it's like you were saying about, say somebody like Beyonce don't support the politics. A lot of black entertainers was going over to Sun City, and they definitely didn't support apartheid, but they were still going to get that bag in the 70s and 80s.
I call them artistic prostitutes, man. We got to start being about more than just our pockets, because really that's prostitution. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it might not just be the dick and pussy prostitution, but you selling your motherfucking soul for some dollars.
Well, what did Whoopi say?
I don't
Why I
know.
gotta be a black actress? Why can't I just be an actress? Why I
You
gotta be
know,
a black performer?
well-
Why can't I just be a performer?
Well, what I would say to that is, I'm connected to the black community.
Mhm.
She had a white dude that was doing blackface. So Whoopi Goldberg ain't nothing that I would identify with or call even black. You know what I'm saying? When I talk about that monkey type shit, that's that monkey type shit. So she don't, whatever she got to say, I don't even speak that language. You know, I don't speak monkey.
How do you
You
feel
know what I
about
mean?
this resurgence that she's going to experience now that they're actually? Have y'all seen the trailer? They're remaking. Well, it's here. They got the new trailer out for the Color Purple reimagining, starring what's her name, Holly Bailey. Her is in it. Taraji P. Henson.
Well, I think that that's a larger
Produced by
discussion.
Oprah.
I think it's a larger discussion because if you look at, like, I read The Color Purple. Like, I know what The Color Purple, not
That's
the
a little
movie,
different.
with the book. It is, but if you look at it and you read that, because I also read The Temple of My Familiar. That's another book that's written by Alice Walker. Alice Walker is a brilliant writer. Brilliant. You know, black people do need to read her. Now, one problem with Alice Walker, though, is I don't know if what black man hurt her or whatever. There's no strong black characters, black male characters, that's of a hero type in any of her books. You know what I'm saying?
Even
And I've read
Mr. did have a redemption arc. People overlooked that.
Mr. was a motherfucking demon in the movie. Maybe what you talking about when he paid for the sister to come back. What was that? The last 10 minutes after you hated this man for
Well, I'm
an
saying
hour and
there's
20 minutes?
but there was a redemption arc that
Yeah,
people
but
overlooked.
listen to what I just said. You liked Mr. for the last 10 minutes after you hated him for 120 minutes. So when you look at The Color
I
Purple,
understood Mr. because look at the.
but you one of very few people.
Look at the influence that his daddy was on some. You gonna let this girl talk to you and treat you like a waiter at your own table? Like he had a big Mr. was filling his head full of bullshit. The woman he really loved, she's a hoe, nigga. You ain't fuck with her. But you know what I'm saying? He was just as much a victim of his circumstances.
I agree,
as
but my
everybody
point,
else.
my point is not that it didn't have a method to the madness. I called her brilliant, but like I said, in none of the two books that I read has she ever. I actually read a third piece of the third one. Has she had a strong black male hero? And you know what I mean. And that's if you can get past that, she has brilliant work. You know, and Color Purple is worth reading, is worth seeing, but it is also knowing that,
Beloved is a good read too.
Beloved.
A lot of
Beloved
movies,
from Toni Morrison.
the books are always better than the movie.
But that was also
That's
a
why
movie
I
that
said
got
that.
Well,
the movie translation just did not do it justice.
Well, yeah, because it went a lot deeper. Because she
Books
was
go
she was
places
full out
movies can't
homosexual in the movie. You know that, right? Celie was a homosexual in the movie and was sleeping with
Repressed.
sleep.
With Sugar.
No, she was sleeping with Sugar
Sugar.
Avery and all
Sugar.
that. Like that was out front in the book. In the
In the movie,
movie,
it's just a
they
kiss.
kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And
Two
then you
girls
see her,
playing.
you see her chasing Suge and all that, but you don't really, you see just the kiss.
right.
But so it spells out more stuff like that in the
Yeah,
movie.
the books always go further than the movie.
Yeah.
And to quote my cousin Rock in there, don't wait for the movie, read the book.
I wonder how much though that was a artistic choice by Spielberg and Oprah to keep the movie respectable
Oh, yeah.
by not including that.
Because it probably would have turned a percentage off for the audience then. Nowadays, it'll be thrust upon, it'll be the focal point of the shit, and you'll lose even more of the essence of what the book is about in today's media. Because we're talking about 30 plus years difference between the original came out in what, 80 what?
What?
The Color Purple.
84.
Okay.
Damn, it came out that long ago?
Yeah. I was still in elementary school.
Damn, 84.
Yeah, I was still in elementary school.
Yeah.
I was just going in.
I was just getting yeah.
84, I turned 10.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing the movie though, the new version.
I'm gonna say this about all these remakes, and
What about White Man Can't
so,
Jump?
I'm
I'm
finished summarizing.
done. Jack Harlow is in it.
Yeah,
That's the white man.
yeah.
And then
Was
the
that
dude-
movie that classic? I mean, it was a classic movie, not to
just
remake
think-
it though.
I think
Didn't they
some
remake The
things-
Wiz?
I think
No.
so. And they're
Yeah,
making
and
another
basically
one
made a
with
sequel
the
to the Wiz.
Little Mermaid with the black.
Yeah,
black
Chloe Bailey.
No, but that was
Or Haley
weird. Did
Bailey.
you see that? The Little Mermaid. So the Little Mermaid has a white father. Then her she's black. She has a white father.
She from Britain.
Then her dude that she likes, he's white, but he has a black mother, and I'm talking about he's white. So it's like some weird, like,
like the
racial-
Cheerios
The water
commercial.
genetics don't.
Everything,
played out.
everything to subconsciously give you the mixed race, mixed population. Because remember, they started doing it.
Well,
in
there's
commercials.
no strong black male.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Which I was gonna get on. That's one thing.
There's
But
no strong black
when
man.
it comes to these remakes, I think
But did you like Sparkle? I thought that was a good one. But my mama said, nah, that was one of her
The
favorite
original?
movies. She liked the original. I never seen the original. I
thought
liked the
original
Beyonce
was
one.
superior.
It was? So,
I mean, musically wise and cinematography and filmmaking,
Irene
of course,
Cara.
the modern
As a matter of fact, did she
version
just
is better,
did she-
but
What was it dope? Like,
but
Passion
the story wise, the original was
Irene
better.
Cara.
it was
more
better.
impactful,
My mama
yeah.
said that.
I think she passed not too long ago, right?
Yes, she did. A few months ago.
Yeah, not too long
Damn,
ago.
she passed
She
this
was,
year too?
yeah,
Irene
really.
Cara.
And Irene Cara was a true talent. who
Yeah.
just-
From Fame.
yeah.
Man, she was fine in the 80s. I remember I used to like her when I was little.
Rest in
I
peace
used to
to
down there
her.
whip
She-
out that lotion
But-
on her.
But back to my original point before we skirt out of here. I think when all these remakes, the nostalgia that we felt as youngsters, you know, I get you want to see it again, whatever. It's like do you think they're gonna remake E.T.? They probably will one day.
They can't touch that.
But
I'll
they
go in
probably-
there and
They
fight.
probably will.
But they probably will.
They gonna have a nigga on a
See?
big, what's them big bikes they be riding now?
Mm-hmm.
Man, don't
New
do it.
edition, my secret.
Yeah,
Well, actually, no, they'll probably be on.
Rippers?
No,
Big
they'll probably
rippers?
have him on them little scooters you rent
Oh,
from
an
the
e-bike?
Yeah, one of them.
Right.
But I'm just saying.
That'd be disrespectful.
Hey, they disrespect the classics when they redo them. Now, just my humble opinion. I think we
Make a
should.
sequel, continue the story, but you don't gotta go reinvent it. That's why the Superman movies be failing. Cause
Man, be
nigga, how many
creative.
times you gonna
Right.
sit through 2 hours of he came from another planet and the parents
Right.
and that? Like we all know
How
the
many more
story. You can start the movie in the middle of him doing some shit.
I'm wondering how many more campsites Batmans is gonna start.
No, the movie that and Ludacris. I seen a. This reminds me
We know
of
the story. Start
the
new.
shit where Ludacris said he's like, why do they keep making Fast and Furious movies? Which I'm a proponent of. Why the fuck do you keep making these shits? But listen,
I got money
listen,
for
let me
them
finish.
every time they make one. They will always sell at least one ticket. Fucking with me.
But listen, Ludacris made a point. He said, if I'm spending 800 million, I'm spending whatever, and I'm making 800 million in profit, so I get it. But at the same time, just being a logical dude, certain shit you need to stop. Remember, we was kids. We were like, dude, why do we have another Friday the 13th? We got tired of the shit.
Yeah,
We love Freddy Krueger. We love Pinhead, motherfucking Halloween. I'm telling you, the next Fast and Furious, them niggas gonna be in a wheelchair racing for fucking Jello pudding cups.
There's a difference, though. There's a difference.
Fuck that.
They on the Freddy Krueger type movies, due to the aesthetics of the 80s and the early 90s, they literally got to the point where they was just marching out some bullshit.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious movies, each one attempts to top the other one.
No, all it does
You know
is
what I'm
grab
saying?
some new motherfucking star or no,
Freddy
some
Krueger and all
established
them, they was
male
just marching
star
out some
to say, oh, you're gonna be the
bullshit.
villain now to go against motherfucking Vin Diesel.
Yeah, but there was-
and them niggas.
but it's top
That's
tier.
all that shit is. That
Yeah.
shit is like regurgitated Rice
but
Krispie cereal.
Each time
with,
they try to top
with diet
themselves
sugar.
and they bring out top tier talent.
I'm sorry.
They
And you
kept
call me
bringing
a
out
hater all you want.
completely unknown
You niggas
motherfuckers
keep
from
going
the
out
Freddy
there to see
Krueger
that
movies
shit.
with
I'm
recycled
sorry.
shit with worse special effects
I
than
got
the
love
first
for
one.
all them,
I
but
think the all-time
that's one
worst is
fucking
James
movie
Bond.
series.
How many more motherfucking
That's
James
one
Bonds?
movie series.
It's another, like, we didn't forget.
It's to
who
be
the
like,
first
nigga,
one
fast
was.
and are you serious? You making another one? Fuck that. That's what you call that shit. The are you serious?
They top each other though. Them
Nah,
niggas
fuck
took
that.
a Pontiac
I
Fiero
don't give a
into
fuck
outer
if them
space,
niggas
and I
took
was in the
eyes and
theater
juice.
like, oh, they wildin'.
Next
But
thing
the
you
shit
know,
was funny.
you know what they gonna do? The niggas gonna do the Fast and Furious when them niggas was in junior high or in elementary school on a green machine? Is that what they gonna do next?
Hey, I'm over
They either gonna do that. They either gonna go way back They either gonna go way back to when them niggas was young, or these niggas, like I said, they can be in an older retirement home in a wheelchair racing for Jello pudding pops and gummy worms.
It might be Fast and Furious 18, but when they
And-
come out this say starring Pharaoh, we gonna be all right.
I'm just saying.
That's when they can
Fuck
stop.
that.
But keep making them shits till I get one.
I'm not mad at them per se, but I'm just saying, man. When the fuck do you just? But Luda said it. He's like, nigga, because we keep making money. And if you niggas gonna keep buying it, they gonna keep selling.
But they keep
So
putting more marketing to it.
here's my point too. This will wrap up a bunch of things we was talking about. If you niggas keep buying bullshit, you'll keep eating bullshit, and you'll keep getting all the health problems you got. Because why? You keep consuming bullshit. You'll get that at 3 a.m.
True.
No,
So-
they put some art into the movies.
Okay, yeah, You put a wig on the pig. We already know how that statement go. Before we end up out of here, let everybody know who you are, where they can find you at. Starting with my illustrious guests.
My name is JR, the Minister of Information. You can find me at jr@sfbayview.com. Definitely at sfbayview.com. That's where I'm at most of the time. I got some new stuff working, so stay tuned.
And as usual, it's your boy Camouflage, K-A-M-M. You can find me on Instagram, Camouflage, K-A-M-M-F-L-A-G-E. Don't sleep, it's a long name, but you can find me in the darkness. Peep it.
Hi, it's your boy Pharaoh, and you can find me. Girlies behind me pushing a Benz 190. You know, say old school cool mode D. But you can find me all over the place, getting up, gearing up, getting ready, man, to eventually get one of these Fast and Furious joints.
Me, I'm your host, Deshaun. Before we head out, one more time, tell the people about the award show coming up, where they can get tickets at, what's going on.
You can get tickets. Black New World Media Awards is going down June 3rd, next Saturday. Get tickets on Eventbrite. The event is going down at 762 Fulton from 6 to 9 p.m. in San Francisco. Come check us out. Giving a Lifetime Achievement Award to J.J. Parson of KPOO, but also the Minister of Culture of the Black Panther Party, Emory Douglas, hosted by Alyssa Victory, the former mayoral candidate, as well as the local politics columnist for the Bayview, but also keynoted by Latifah Simon and Michelle Phillips. So a lot of people, a lot of Oaklanders is getting awards, but also our brothers and sisters in the city also. So come check us out. Come be a part of and kick it with the Black Press.
That's what we doing, man. We trying to each one teach one. We trying to celebrate ourselves and stop depending on the milk of magnesia for our nutrients. Cause hey, I got my sea moss. You have yours.
Straight up.
All right, for real though. I appreciate everybody tuning in. And before, like we said, it's Memorial Day weekend, which is the official kickoff to summer. So all you big backs out there, I hope you was in the gym. No, I'm just playing. I'm big shit. Dude, I'm fluffy shit. Hey, fluffy lives matter. But hey,
Fluffy.
you know, this is the weekend is the official kickoff to summer, man. Y'all be safe. You already know them boys is out. Ignorance is at an all-time high, so please be safe. Kiss the kids at night. Love yourselves and love each other. Let's all respect each other, because at the end of the day, we need each other, whether you think you do or not. And if you think I'm bullshitting, look at the Lakers. They got swept the fuck up out of here last week. They needed somebody. Everybody needs somebody to love. The Blues Brothers, bitch. Hey, we out of here, though. Catch y'all next week. No, actually, no. We not on next week. This is graduation. See y'all in 2 weeks. Holla at your boy.